Toss aside the touchy-feely notions of love in business and recognize the real power it holds. Welcome to the Love is Just Damn Good Business podcast with host Steve Farber. Drawing on his work with a wide variety of companies from the Fortune 100 to smaller family-owned businesses, Farber shares inspiring interviews with business leaders and proven strategies for how you can create experiences that your customers will love by developing a culture that your employees, teammates, and colleagues love working in. Discover why and how love, at the end of the day, is just damn good business for you too. Here's your host, Steve Farber.
Hi, this is Steve Farber, and welcome to another episode of the Love is Just Damn Good Business podcast. By the way, the name of the podcast, Love is Just Damn Good Business, also by some startling coincidence, happens to be the name of my newest book, Love is Just Damn Good Business, which is available everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Everywhere you can buy books. And I hope you will check it out. If you're enjoying this podcast, you'll love the book. And obviously, love is the operative word. Oh, I've got a good one for you today. I'm going to take you back to our latest extreme leadership experience, which happened here in San Diego, the end of February 2020. I mean, like right under the wire before things started shutting down due to COVID. We had our event and it was phenomenal. So I'll be bringing you a few of those presentations over the next couple of months or so. But today, I want you to hear Susie Thompson from a company called Wood Huston Bank. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Susie, and then I'm going to give you some glossary terms that you may want to keep in mind as you listen to her incredible presentation. Susie Thompson has enjoyed a long and interesting career in a variety of different roles, all connected to her love for learning and leadership. She's currently the Vice President of Human Resources and Culture Officer at the Wood Huston Bank in Marshall, Missouri, where she says that she loves helping make sure that her teammates deliver extraordinary experiences and feel like they get to come to work versus having to come to work. And you'll hear all about that in just a few minutes. She's a graduate from the Graduate School of Banking at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and she is also one of our certified extreme leadership facilitators. Now, when you hear Graduate School of Banking, you're going to have a certain, I'm going to guess, stereotypical image of what Susie Thompson is like. I mean, what are bankers like? Well, like any other stereotype, there's some truth and some untruth in whatever image you have in your head. And I guarantee you she does not fit the mold of the quote-unquote typical banker. You see, before she was in banking, she spent 17 years at Hallmark Cards, where she was responsible for learning and development and leadership development and retail training and executive coaching. Okay, so you're seeing a picture emerge here. Banker right now. Then before that, 17 years at Hallmark Cards. Well, before that, she received a master's degree in teaching and spent 9 years as an English teacher, as a yearbook advisor, and also a varsity tennis coach at 2 Missouri parochial schools. All right, so put all that together. Banker, leadership development at Hallmark, English teacher, yearbook advisor. When you start to put all those ingredients together, you're getting a little different picture. It may be a little more accurate picture of who Susie Thompson is. So I'm very excited that you're going to get to participate in and experience Susie's incredible energy. Now, a couple of terms that you need to know so you'll understand the full context of the story that you're about to hear. You'll hear a lot of references to LEAP, L-E-A-P, which is our extreme leadership methodology. It stands for love, energy, audacity, and proof. The extreme leader is somebody who cultivates love, generates energy, inspires audacity, and provides proof. This has been the foundation of my work at the Extreme Leadership Institute. It's been the foundation of every book that I've ever written. And like I said, Susie is a practitioner of these ideas. And you're going to hear the story of how she took LEAP back to the bank and the impact that it had on their culture. The other term that you're going to hear thrown around a bit is the OSM, which is spelled capital O, capital S, exclamation mark, capital M, which stands for the oh shit moment. So this is the other side of love. Love is the motivation that gets us to step up and take action and change things for the better. The OSM is that experience that we get when we're pushing ourselves outside of the proverbial comfort zone in order to change things for the better. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my friend and soon to be yours, Susie Thompson of Wood Huston Bank. Enjoy.
This is a love story about a road trip to find the perfect culture for an amazing bank. My bank, the Wood Huston Bank, in the center of the state of Missouri, in the heart of America. Everything about our road trip, everything about this story is rooted in love. Love for our business, love for the place, love for our customers, and most importantly, a love for each other. So I want to give a shout out to my peeps today. So thank you for all your love today. This is a great story, and I hope when you listen to this story, there are some things about our journey, about the process that we've gone through. Maybe there are some ideas that we've implemented that you might think about applying to your line of work or your business. I will tell you, I think we're about halfway through our story, but it truly is a love story. Right, so I want to give you a little bit of background, and I guess with a good story, you start with once upon a time, right? Once upon a time, there was a fifth-generation community bank founded in 1874 by two men, William Wood and Joseph P. Huston Jr. They founded the bank based on the core values of family and tradition and personalized banking, which continues even today. There are three of the Huston brothers at the helm. There's Nick and then Matt and HJ. And some of their sons and daughters are wanting to get in the banking business too and continue that legacy. Their father, John, who is 92 years young, he's really in the state of Missouri, actually in our region, he's a legend in banking for his strong morals and values and ethics and extraordinary customer service. He's an amazing, amazing man. Now, Wood Huston, we're close to being an $800 million bank. We have 12 banking centers in about 6 different markets. We're getting ready to open our 13th banking center on Monday. Now, I've got it, I know, yes. And what's really cool is the last 3 banking centers that we've opened have been in the past 2 years. Yeah, we're growing at a fast and furious rate, and it's so much fun. We've also, in 2 years in a row, we've landed on the top 100 healthiest banks list. So we're incredibly proud of that. We are a strong and healthy and thriving bank, and that's actually where our culture transformation began. Much like the story of OAC, right? We're not in a place where we have to do this. We're in a place where we want to be good, but continue to enhance that and get even better than where we are now. So that's kind of a little bit of background. So I want to take you back a couple of years, back to about January of 2018. I think this is where our story really began. We got word at the bank that we had won this national award. Super cool. It was the Extraordinary Banker Award. And in the particular category that they said we had won was the Thought Leader Award, which was super cool to hear. Didn't really have a definition behind it, but we inferred some things. And there was a conference tied to this award ceremony. And it was a great conference. So we said, what the heck? Let's go. So we took 6 of us and we went to Minneapolis. And Jess, you're right. Minneapolis is an awesome city. We went to Minneapolis, and the first night was actually the awards night. So we walk into the venue. Now, I'm a new banker, actually. I had just been a banker for a short time. So I walk in, and I swear to you, the first thing we saw was a red carpet. And there were women in ball gowns. I mean, I'm in my $49.99 dress from Kohl's, and I'm thinking, one of these things is not like the other, right? And so I see this red carpet, and I'm like, wow, we're bankers. This is kind of weird. And so I stepped on the carpet, And it felt really good. And there was literally paparazzi. So they're taking pictures as we're going down. And I'm like, do I do a pageant wave? What do I do? You know, do I pop a pose at the end? I'm a banker, right? Felt this sexy and cool. Well, then we walk into the venue. It was this huge venue. And I'm not kidding you. It was literally the Oscars of banking. I mean, there was this monstrous stage. All of these lights, there were teleprompters, there were presenters and music and entertainment. It was really intoxicating. And we got to sit up close to the front. And when it came time to receive the award, our CEO went up on stage and they had said we had won the Thought Leader Award, meaning we are visionary in our thinking and what we're doing with our bank just to kind of stay ahead of the game. And when he went up there, it was such an honor and such a privilege. And I was so proud to be part of our bank. I mean, it was literally in tears, and he accepted the award, and it was really a highlight for me in my career to get to be a part of that. So when we returned home, and I'm going to go to the next chapter here, I have to tell you, it felt great to say, hey, we're extraordinary bankers, right? We even, and I brought this with me, every employee, we got mugs to prove it. And we had our little name on it and said extraordinary banker, right? So it was really cool. But, you know, once the dust settled, you know, and we kind of come off our high a little bit, we started to ask ourselves some questions as a leadership team. The first set of questions, you know, what really is extraordinary in our world here at Wood Huston? Do we know how to define it? And more importantly, do we know how to be it? We never really verbalized it or really documented it anywhere. And then it led to even deeper questions. Do we know the purpose of our bank? Do we know what our beliefs and values are? I remember when I started just a year before that, I think it was in the employee handbook, you know, that I read on my first day of orientation, right? But we had never really unearthed those, and I couldn't even tell you what they were. And then we got to the big question. Do we truly have a culture that supports the vision that we have for our bank? Now, we knew because of the rapid nature of change in banking that we had to stay ahead of the game. All right? If we truly wanted to get to the billion-dollar level, right? And once you get to that level, it's a game changer. And we knew we had to be ready. We had to have answers to these questions that we were asking ourselves. And we also knew that as true competitors, we could not rest on our laurels. We had to keep perfecting. We had to keep defining and aligning and refining, and we had to create a culture that was going to help us do that and continue to be successful and continue to thrive. So it was time for us to take a little bit of a culture temperature. So we designed some surveys, and I actually personally went around and I asked every single employee the same question. And I went on what we call the loop, which is about a 1,000-mile journey to all of our banking centers around the state of Missouri. So I asked every employee the same question. I said, how would you define culture at Wood Huston Bank? Now, about half of them looked at me like I had forehead. And many of them asked me, so what exactly do you mean by culture? It's kind of a weird word. But most everybody gave me a one-word answer. And I know my people know this. So when I asked you, how would you define culture? What is that one word, ladies? Family. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, everybody said we're like a family. And that's great. Fantastic. And then we asked ourselves, okay, is that great enough? Is just family enough of a definition of culture that's going to take us to that next level of banking? So I had done a lot of culture work, and Steve had mentioned I worked for Hallmark Cards. I did a lot of culture work for Hallmark, so I was familiar with culture in a greeting card world. But I wasn't as familiar. I had not done any kind of work with community banks. So we found someone that we had met at a Missouri Bankers Conference, and he had done a lot of work with hundreds of community banks, and he's actually from this very city, Mr. Ray Adler. So we partnered with him, and we said, you know what? Let's partner, let's put pen to paper and get this story written. So my English teachers, you know, with any great story, you need a robust and diverse set of characters, right? So we said we need to gather a group of people that from all pieces and places of the organization that we're going to call, for lack of a better term, the culture committee, okay, that was going to help us author this story that we were getting ready to start to write. Now, I put out an email and I said, I'm looking for people who are passionate about our bank. I'm looking for people who are passionate about taking our bank to the next level. I'm looking for people who are passionate about wanting to create a vibrant culture that's going to help us be even more successful than we are. Now, I'm going to stop here for a second. We actually did something I thought was pretty smart. We did a lot of active recruiting. There were a lot of people that we knew we wanted on that team who were heavy influencers in the bank, who we knew were going to be our change proponents, right? So that was really important to get them on board first. Then I started getting email after email, phone call after phone call. I had people come personally into my office and asking to be a part of this. So we actually ended up capping it at about 25 people. We felt that was a manageable number to kind of start us off to help write the story. So we brought all these people together, and this is actually, I'm going to go back. There we go. Yay. Okay. Thank you. These are my peeps. This was our first culture committee. And the really cool thing about this group of people, in this picture, you see tellers, you see consumer bankers, you see lenders, you see someone from HR, you see someone from accounting, you see somebody from audit and compliance, you see branch manager, you see a president, you see our CEO. All levels, all roles, all generations. You know, a diversity of thoughts, a diversity of opinions and ideas, a diversity of backgrounds and experiences. I call them my veritable stir fry of love right here. This was our original team of amazing people. We met for the first time in a small community outside of St. Louis. Now, you can imagine, many of these people had never even met each other. Our banking centers are very far apart. So we were nervous, but we were excited at the same time, and we knew we were part of something much bigger than ourselves, but we weren't quite sure what yet. We said, because we're all here together and because we're nervous, and Rachel, one of my favorite culture committee members, is here with me today. Rachel actually told me, she said, do not sit me next to a president. I don't want to do this. And so I knew a lot of people were nervous. So we did some level setting and we set some expectations. And the first thing that we said, one of our first messages was, we are here to deepen relationships. Okay, we're in the business of doing that. We're here to deepen relationships with each other as a culture committee. And once we get to know each other, we need to take that back to our markets and deepen relationships with the people in our markets, which is going to translate to our customers and deepening relationships with them. So everybody kind of knew what the objective was at first. And then we said, and this was important, slow change equals fast progress. This is not going to be an overnight journey. This is going to be a long journey, but we're going to be methodical. We're going to take our time. We're going to do it right. And then we talked a little bit yesterday about safety. We knew we had to create a safe environment. So right off the bat, we said, judge ideas, not people. We want you to raise your hand. We want you to give your ideas and share your thoughts and share your opinions, but we don't judge you for it, right? So that was super important. We also talked about the stages of team development, which I think you guys are familiar with, the forming, storming, norming, performing. And we said, hey, we're forming here, and there's going to be a lot of storming, and we're going to go in and out of the stages, okay? That's normal, and it's okay. So just be aware of that. So for that 2 days that we were together, okay, we talked about what we believed. We talked about what we valued. We talked about what we expected out of all of us as a culture committee. We designed what we called the culture attributes, okay, all of the behaviors that we felt were important to our business, right? So at the end of the 2 days, oh man, we were gassed up and firing on all cylinders. But we knew we had a long way to go, right? So we did commit to having monthly meetings. We said we've got to keep in touch with each other. So every month, we would have video conferences, and we committed to that. We were going to continue talking, strategizing, talk about issues, make decisions. Now, I'll tell you, we went down some unplanned side roads. We ran out of gas a couple of times. We lost our GPS signal. But every month, we kind of brought ourselves back onto the road again. Now, something important happened in September of that year. We had realized we were missing a critical component. Okay, that was really the most important part of what we were trying to do. It was really the common thread that was going to weave everything about our culture together, and that was a leadership philosophy. Now, I knew it was missing because we didn't have one. I knew we didn't have. I'd never seen it before. And I actually did a little mini exercise at one point. And do this back wherever you work. I gave them 3x5 cards and I said, okay, guys, I just want you just for the next 30 seconds, go ahead and write down our leadership philosophy. I know it won't take you long. And you heard a lot of nervous laughter and people were looking around like, oh my God, what is it? And they were writing fast and furiously. One woman was writing a novel and another guy just, I think, wrote one word. And then I said, okay, in 30 seconds, at the end of 30 seconds, on the count of 3, I want you to share it out loud. What is our leadership philosophy? And so I go, 1, 2, 3. Right? It was very obvious that we didn't have one. So I walked away from that and I started to do some research. I went back to my old Hallmark leadership development days and I unearthed some of those leadership books and I was looking for, past workshops that I had facilitated or conferences that I attended, and nothing was connecting or clicking for me. And then in my further research, I stumbled on this dude named Farber. I went to his website and I was hooked. I clicked in and I watched him deliver his message, and it was like the heavens parted and the angels were singing, Love! And I was like, golly, this stuff resonates so strongly with me. Hallelujah. That's exactly right. And it just spoke to me personally so strongly. But I had to take my Susie hat off and I had to put my Wood Huston Bank hat on and really ask myself, is this really the leadership philosophy that is going to work in the context of the culture that we're defining? And it was very clear that it was a perfect message. So I decided to dive into the weeds and become a certified facilitator. And some of my classmates are here. I've got Tim, Josh. Where is Josh? Josh is somewhere. Matt is here. Yay! Murmatang! Yes. And I have to tell you, and you've probably heard this in the past day and a half, it was by far and away the best experience of my career. By far and away. I'm 55 years old. I've had a long career. It was amazing. And I went back to the bank. Now, I'm a very excitable person. I hope you can tell that. And whenever I go to a conference or a workshop, woo! I'm feeling good. I take the workbook, and I'm writing, I rewrite my notes. I do that. And then I pick things I want to key in on and do all these things. And so I get back to the bank and I sat in Janice, my boss's office, and I said, this is fantastic. We have to roll out. This is amazing. And she knows me well enough. And then our CEO walked in the office and he knows me well enough too. And they said, give it a month. We want to see how you feel after a month. That was not working for me. I was too excited. And then usually it dissipates with me when I go to a conference. It does. If I give it a couple of weeks and I put the workbook away, it gathers dust somewhere. It was not dissipating. It was actually growing. My excitement was growing. So at the end of the month, I'm ready. Let's do this, right? So our CEO, Mark Thompson, no relation, he's a banker. So he's seeing is believing, right? So I brought him to this conference last year, this very conference. Yes. And the poor guy, he had a horrible head cold, sicker than a dang dog. And I'm thinking to myself, dang it, he's going to miss this. He's going to miss the power of this. He's kind of off in medicine land. The minute we got on the plane to go back to Marshall, he turned around and he looked me in the eye and he said, we have to roll this out to every single employee at Wood Huston Bank. Not just our leadership team, every single employee. I was like, yes, I was so excited. And then we pulled out our workbooks, and I have this workbook with me. What was amazing, we had written the same thing on John Beater's page. And we figured out there was a missing piece to our puzzle, and we discovered it at this very experience last year. He and I had written the same thing and circled it. It was our purpose, our bank's purpose. And I have it written right here. Mine said, we make dreams come true. His said, we help make dreams come true. Totally separate of each other. No, that was just destiny. It was amazing. So with our purpose in hand and with the excitement of the experience and of LEAP, we went back to Wood Huston, and we were ready to rock and roll. So we said, all right, we have to be strategic about how we roll this out, because I can't just go around one day and deliver 49,000 workshops to all of our employees, right? So we said it's got to start from the top, and we have to gain buy-in there. So it started literally with the Houston brothers. We sat them down, and there were a couple of salty things about love and banking, but they got it, right? And so they were all on board. And then we decided the next step was with our senior leadership team. So we actually conducted a 2-day workshop with that level. And the first day was LEAP as it's been designed, right? And it was a focus on them as individual leaders. They had their action plans at the end of the workshop. And then day 2 was, I think it was Ross yesterday that posed the question, what's in it for us? That question. That's what we did. We said, how does this work within the context of us? And what does this mean for the entire organization? And how are we as senior leaders going to influence, motivate, and lead this effort? So that was amazing. And we assigned accountability partners from there. We had our own action plans that we were armed with. And then a couple of weeks later, we brought in all of our supervisors and managers into Marshall, and we delivered a 1-day workshop with them. And again, action plans, accountability partners, they were pumped and ready to go. They were excited that their staffs had an opportunity to get a leadership experience too. Now keep in mind, a lot of our employees, especially like at the teller level, even our janitor came to the workshop, they had never been given the opportunity to go to a leadership experience. They never even thought that they were even considered leaders. So that was really cool. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. So I went on the loop again, the 1,000-mile journey, and I delivered in total, I think, 23 workshops. Wow. I was exhausted, but I was exhilarated. And I was so excited about the potential of love in our workplace and what that was going to do for our business. And it was really cool. And during these workshops, and then I realized too that there was a lot of HRE stuff that we had to deal with. Interview and selection, LEAP was going to affect. Onboarding and performance management. And then every employee, and I brought this with me, we call it our little pocket pal. It's a 4-fold. This is basically the outline of our story on this thing. And we shared this in every workshop. Because you guys, English teachers, a good story, you have to answer the why, the what, the how, the who. So we did. And we said, why do our customers love us? Because we help make dreams come true. Is that not a cool purpose? Yes, it's awesome. And then we said, well, how or what do we need to deliver in order to help make dreams come true? We have to deliver extraordinary customer experiences every single day. Not just external customer experiences, but most importantly, internal customer experiences as well. How do we deliver extraordinary? These are our attributes, our culture attributes. We have to be trusted advisors, live the ethics, the morals that John Huston stood for. We have to be pioneering in how we think and how we design processes and programs and products. We have to be driven every single day to come to work knowing that we're going to be better today than we were yesterday. We knew we had to be accountable. We had to be reliable, and we had to be efficient. This is what we believe, this is what we value, and this is what we expect every single day. Now, the cool thing is, on the back of this is the common thread that weaves it all together, and that's LEAP. This brings our whole, yes, yay, round of applause, woo! Cultivating love, generating the energy, inspiring audacity, providing proof. This is such good stuff. Right? Every employee now knows that they have the ability and the permission to change the world of Wood Huston Bank for the better. We are here to do what we love in the service of people who love what we do. We are all, every single one of us, leaders in this effort. Isn't that not cool? We provide proof every day. We walk the walk, and we live LEAP to bring our story to life every single day. Now, I got to tell you, after these workshops, people were emotionally charged. I had people come in my office in tears. People were asking me for extra copies of the book to give to their spouse or, their friends outside of work. They they were aching to pursue OSMs. They were desperate for growth and learning and development. It was really amazing. And I realized, and you know what? This is where the fun really began. This is where the power and the impact of LEAP became visible in our organization. And it's where the payoffs became huge. So I want to break down LEAP and tell you some things that we've done for each piece of LEAP. I could talk for 2 hours about all the things that we've done, but I'm going to kind of keep it at a high level today. I would love to chat with all of you about the things that we've done. But the first thing is around cultivating love. Now, we're a community bank, so we take pride in cultivating love in our communities. We actually, last year, sponsored over 300 events in all of our markets. We either wrote a check, donated an auction item for a fundraiser, we walk in parades, we teach financial literacy to our school children, we usher at the local theater in town. We do a lot of different things in our communities, and we're very proud of that. This is actually, what was just up, is my favorite thing that we did to cultivate love. At our last Culture Committee meeting in our newest market, Sedalia, Missouri, we always have an activity at the end of night one, or day one. And this was our Acts of Kindness activity. 25 of us, we broke out into teams of 5, and every team got $100, and we had 1 hour to go generate acts of kindness in our community of Sedalia. No rules, just kindness. We gave every Culture Committee member, and my peeps are wearing this. Would you guys stand up and model for me, please? It's an OSM for some of you, I know. Thank you. Yes. These are our t-shirts. Yay! We helped make dreams come true. It was a really pretty cool PR thing, too, in the community. But that wasn't even the intent, right? So we went out. I have to tell you, I stayed back at the hotel, and I asked them I said, send me your pictures as you're doing this, right? And I'm going to put them on a PowerPoint, and when we come back for dinner, I'll share this PowerPoint of all the love and kindness that we've spread throughout Sedalia. My phone was blowing up so fast, bing, 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 bing. I couldn't keep up with all of the pictures, so I just stopped. I can't do this. It was so... oh my gosh, it was so invigorating to see. And we got phone calls for weeks after, people that had said, thank you so much. They went to the police department, and people put, this one woman did her laundry at the local laundry facility, so gave her all the quarters to do her laundry. We actually had, this is the coolest story, one of the teams bought a woman a Starbucks there in Sedalia. She and her daughter was visiting her, and her daughter worked for Starbucks in Springfield, Missouri, which is where another one of our markets is. One of our Springfield employees the next week in Springfield went to Starbucks, and she said, oh, you work for that bank. I was in Sedalia. You bought my mother a Starbucks. So, it traveled through the whole state. That's just the power of kindness, and it's just absolutely awesome. And think about doing that with your businesses, with your groups, because it made a difference, not just in the community, but it really made a difference to the Culture Committee. As a matter of fact, we went back, and Mark, our CEO, said, we've got to do this for the whole company. So every market, each employee got $10, and we're broken into teams of 5 and went out into our markets to continue the kindness. And what's really cool is it didn't end there, because that was right around the holiday time. Our employees did this for their families. I did this on Christmas Eve with my family. I broke my family into teams and gave my grandkids money to go do acts of kindness in the community. So it was just like a pay it forward kind of a thing that was just, the power was amazing. There's my friend Melinda teaching financial literacy. She's our payroll gal. She's awesome. We generate energy through recognition. We have a great platform that I would love to talk to you about. It's called You Earned It, or now Kazoo. It's like a social media platform, so you create your own profile, and there's a feed every day, a feed of recognition. And so you can see pictures of people in other markets, so you can put a face to a name. And what's really cool is we said, in order to do this, your recognition needs to be very specific. Thank the person and be specific about what they did, but tie it to one of our core values. So it has to be tied to a culture attribute, or OSM, or Living LEAP. And I just pulled a report the day before I came here. OSMs and Living LEAP account for 50% of our recognition. Yeah, woo is a big deal. And this one, let's see. Yes, Haley Carson is in our Sedalia market, and she went on the radio. She's one of the most introverted people I've ever met. So this was a huge OSM for her. Now, the coolest part about our recognition is that our number one recognizer is our CEO. He is on there every day giving high fives, making recognition himself. And do you know, he has the least amount of recognition in the whole bank. Yeah, but he's amazing. Okay, remind me to tell you a story about Mark here in just a minute, because I'm going to bring a picture of him up, because he's awesome. We also generate energy through communication. We created a newsletter called The Trusted Advisor. And every month, a different president in a different market writes an article about how they've helped make dreams come true in their market and gives us a little bit of background about their market so all of our employees understand all parts of our business. We also have a LEAP article every month. Mark wrote the first one, and that's important. You know, we have to keep the momentum going. We have to keep the messages alive all the time. We also generate energy just through emails. We use the LEAP language in emails. And the best example I can give you is what happened to me today. Sorry. I received, and I'm not kidding you, I received 170 text messages from all of my coworkers at Wood Huston Bank, wishing me luck, telling me they love me. Mark, my husband is a farmer. Okay. He has a flip phone and has never taken a selfie. I want you guys to ask me to see this. He brought my husband into the bank yesterday and gave him a t-shirt. He took a selfie with him and said, go pursue that OSM. Love, energy, audacity, proof. And then this topped it all off. Right before you introduced me so wonderfully, my daughter lives in Kansas City, an hour and a half from Marshall. He sent her a t-shirt and a sign that said OSM, and she held it up and took a selfie of herself wearing the t-shirt with my granddog Tito. That's who we are, and that's how we are. And it's so I'm going to ask you, did that give me energy? Damn straight. I feel like I could fly home without a plane. It's awesome. Now, we also inspire audacity. Every team member has a specific LEAP goal. And actually, we have several team members that have more than one LEAP goal. This is Cassie, one of my favorites. She has a LEAP goal, and this is her OSM. She's, again, an introverted gal. She's our bookkeeper. And she volunteered to help plan one of our face-to-face culture committee meetings. She's already led 2 of our meetings and done a phenomenal job. But everybody has a LEAP goal. We also inspire audacity through OSMs. This is a picture of 2 of my favorite introverts. Colin is on the left and Lisette is on the right. We, every Halloween, we put on what's called Trick or Treat on the Square. We transform our bank lobby into a children's theme. And last year we had 1,000 people come through our lobby, and it was the Aladdin theme. So these 2 stepped way outside their comfort zones and became the leads. So there were Jasmine and Aladdin. Now, talk about commitment. Colin even shaved his beard for the role, right? But the cool part of this story is the growth that I have personally seen in both of these people since this time. As a matter of fact, Lisette, who always told me all I'm going to be is a teller, she interviewed for a really cool job in our credit administration area, and she blew it out the roof. She got the job, and she's getting ready to start that new job. And I'm convinced it's because she pursued an OSM, which gave her the confidence to know that I can do anything. So it is just amazing. We provide proof through development. Rachel Howery, rock star, my favorite. Oh, God, you're awesome. Yes. She developed this program called the COPS program. It stands for Career Opportunities and Position Shadowing. And it offers anybody the ability, if you want to go shadow someone, you want to learn about somebody else's job, you're interested in a job and you want to shadow for a little bit to see if it's right for you, we give you that opportunity. You can go to other markets even. We pay for it and we want it. We promote it. We've had 27 applications. 22 people have gone through this program. 5 have gotten new jobs. All of them have credited this program for their learning and growth. And what's really cool, in 2 weeks, one of our tellers from our southernmost market is going to shadow our CEO. That's a pretty cool opportunity, I think. And I think he's really excited about that. And actually, I think Mark is actually more excited than he is. We also provide proof with our accountability partners. I know Janice and Angie, who's here. Angie is our president of the West Plains Banking Center. You guys are accountability partners, right? Yeah, and you guys have been doing an amazing job. Some of our accountability partners talk weekly, some monthly, some quarterly, but everybody connects. Everybody holds each other accountable. We do what we say we're going to do every single day. All of our monitors, our screensavers, have Leap on it. So we're reminded of the message every single day. We have these in our conference rooms as well and on our video conference TVs. You can't miss it. Wow. Whew. I've flown through this story. This has been the best trip ever. This has been so rewarding on such a deep level for me personally. It's not about me and what I feel. I have seen the power of Leap every single day because I walk into the office and there's more laughter than there's ever been before. And it's fun to come to work. And I think I have the best job in the bank. I always tell everybody I get to help make sure that people feel like they get to come to work versus having to come to work. And that laughter and the noise. A noise in a bank, right? You never hear noise in a bank, but you do at our bank. And as a matter of fact, we play music in our lobby, and every so often I'll go out there and I'll dance with our customers. Now, if I know them, I don't just pull somebody out, hey, you. And we have fun. And here's the magic of it all is that, we're having fun. We love what we do in the service of these people who love what they do. And they're thanking us with their business. And then they're going out and they're inspiring and cultivating love and generating energy and inspiring audacity and providing proof in their own businesses. So it's like a boomerang effect. And I'm going to read you one text, if you don't mind. I've got time. Just wanted to remind you how amazing you are and say you are going to crush it today. One of my favorite things about you is your ability to see the best in people and to not only see it, but to speak it to them so they know they are valued. What a great way to cultivate love. You also generate an awesome energy when you walk in a room instead of walking out. You are audacious and go after your OSMs and inspire so many along their journeys to do the same, and you provide proof every single day by walking the walk of loving what you do in the service of people who love what you do. You are a true example of living Leap. Have a great day, Susie, and know that we are all cheering you on from home today. And I don't read that out of a place of ego, but Leap has a boomerang effect. I read this, the energy that I have right now is unbelievable. I am inspired now to make somebody else's day right now. I can't wait to go out and make a difference. Not only in the space of my bank, but in the space of my bigger world, with the people that I love and live with and are friends with. It's an absolute pleasure. And I want to introduce you. I've got a couple of minutes, and I want to introduce you to some important people on my team. This is Mark. He's our leading leaper as our CEO. And this is not something he is comfortable doing, wearing a lei and putting his hand. This was like some weird game. But what he did today, and with my husband and with my daughter, that just is who he is. He's just so generous. I love him. I really do. He's my work husband. He just models what you got to do every day, and it inspires everybody. We're about halfway through our culture journey, but it's been a hell of a ride. We've had so much fun with it, and we actually we have a bigger culture committee now that we're starting. More people want to be involved, and we're like, heck yeah. So there's going to be 170 of us on this culture committee at some point, right? So we've got a long ways to go. We know it, but I want to thank you guys, and Steve, thank you so much for changing my life and allowing me the opportunity to share our story today, because I hope you get the sense that I'm excited about it and I love what I do. So thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your conference. Yay.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Love is Just Damn Good Business with Steve Farber. Join us again next time, because when customer and employee satisfaction just isn't enough anymore, we are here to back you up with specific ideas to operationalize love to make an enormous difference in your business, personal life, and the world around you. Visit our website at stevefarber.com to leave a review. And don't forget to share the love with your colleagues and friends, because after all, it's just damn good business.